It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop J.
What up, sports fans? Once again, it's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And obviously, y'all know what we're here for today, or maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's all to the GO, baby. That's right. We want to welcome you all to our very first installment of Ask the GM with my man RC Stafford in the building. What's happening?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on.
It's all good. Come on now. You already know what's already understood, need not even be explained. And just to let the folks out there who watching know, this is how we're going to do this. Again, I said this is our first installment with many more to come. Hopefully, let's, you know what I'm saying, throw some hands, cross some fingers. This is how it's going to go. I bought my man. Now, just to give you all, hold on. Matter of fact, let me slow it down just a little bit. Let me give you all a little background on my man, RC Stafford. The man, when it comes to trades and moves to be made on the various sports landscapes or sports leagues, the NBA especially, and the NFL, the man knows his stuff when it comes to what moves should be made, what moves shouldn't be made, so on and so forth. So after hearing this young man talk a couple of times, and he joined us on the platform or the program once or twice before, I said to myself, the wheels start spinning. I said, man, I got to do something with this guy or whatever the case may be. So I went in the lab and I said, you know what? This guy acts and talks like a GM. So I said, well, why not just add for the shop to have its own GM, so to speak? And then thus, my man Rick, RC Stafford, as I like to call him, he decided to join us to be our GM or our version of a GM when it comes to this sports talk. So once again, we want to welcome you all to Ask the GM with RC Stafford. And without further ado, we're going to jump right in the deal. Now, you and I were talking the other day about the moves that's being made in the NBA, potentially. When we did the podcast the other day, Brother Rich, Double J, and I, and TJ, I mentioned, or I said to them, man, it's crazy how, like, this is the first time since I could recall where the NBA at this time of year was like front and center on the sports landscape. Right. You know what I mean? Because usually after the finals, it's like dead air, so to speak. I mean, okay, you got Major League Baseball, but I mean, who really watches Major League Baseball until October? Nobody really pays. I mean, I do, but I'm talking about for the common fan. All right. So here it is, the NBA, the offseason talk or off-season news is like front page news every day. I don't recall the time that I ever seen it be like this. So while the getting is good, we got to get on in on some of this action. So let's talk about the domino effect. Kyrie, KD. This is before I just saw that he signed. Kyrie did. He opted in for his $37 million player option or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Go ahead. Give me your take on that.
I still think. I mean, he would have been crazy not to. Like, it's a difference, like leaving $36 million on the table to Brooklyn telling him, I don't like the packages the Lakers offering. That's the only team looking to trade for you. And by him opting out, just picking up a $6 million contract with the Lakers. So then you got the speculations of him actually calling LeBron a week ago and they having a heart-to-heart talk and more speculation coming out. I still think it's not no set in stone, but we'll see. Because I think I heard him say signing the opt-in contract that he's committed to KD. But we'll see. I think it's a lot of stuff has to happen on that end.
But wait a minute. Okay, but if he already signed his player option, then he got it. He stick to it, right?
Yeah, but it's also the sign and trade possibility. Like,
that's still on the table, even though he did sign it. See, I didn't know that. Okay, good stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff. Okay. So let's say, even though he opted in, he said he committed to KD, so to speak. The sign and trade could still go on, but now who would facilitate a sign and trade? Would it be the Nets? They could still do it regardless that
Yeah,
he's signing, is what you're saying.
they could still do it. You know, Brooklyn came out and saying they was prepared to lose both of them versus going through what they went through this past season.
Mm,
So, but they already said they don't like the Lakers package. But then Kyrie did,
I saw that.
yeah. So, and then it was kind of going to be tricky anyway because you got the whole Westbrook situation on that end. If he strictly wanted trying to get to the Lakers end, they got a lot of things to do on their end too to even facilitate anything because it's not that much they can really do. Kind of capped out. I don't think people trust AD right now either.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
on the health, and that's
yeah.
like I don't think somebody has the balls to trade LeBron, especially how he's still playing. So but I still think that's still a domino effect, especially after the Warriors winning this year. A lot of teams trying to regroup to see how can they get to that stature.
Okay, answer me this question. Why wouldn't Kyrie, why wouldn't he want to go to the Clippers?
I think to me personally, because I'm not speaking because I'm really a Clippers fan. Because I'm a
Okay,
big
got you.
Kawhi guy. I'm a big Kawhi
Okay,
guy. I'm a
I
big
am too. Brother Rich gonna love it. He gonna love to hear that.
so I think that's the perfect scenario. I mean, other than leaving Brooklyn because him and KD got that close blind or whatnot, I
Mm,
really think that's the perfect scenario. Other than staying in Brooklyn, if they healthy and got everybody got on the same page, is with the Clippers. For one, you know the offense. Ty Lue is the
right,
coach, which
right.
you
Oh,
wanted, which you wanted to be the coach in Brooklyn, but KD wanted Steve because of that relationship in Golden State when he was the shooting coach there. So you got
okay.
that, and then it's just like that. I think that they was a match made in heaven. Like when Tyronn Lue was the coach, was coaching him. Like
Mm,
then you look at the wings. You got Kawhi coming back healthy, PG coming back
Paul
healthy.
George. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got those defenders. You got Norman Powell there. You got the shooters and Luke Kennard there, Covington. Like, I think I would look into that, but then again, I mean, he did name them as one of the teams he willing
Hmm.
to go to, but all them teams that he named, only the Lakers was willing to even think about a sign and
Consider
trade.
it. Mm.
Yeah.
And well, let's and then okay, go back to slide over back to the Lakers. What do yeah, your phone is shaking a little bit when you talk. Yeah, it's all good. Um, what they sign and trade Kyrie and he go to the Lakers. What happens to Westbrook? Do anybody even want Westbrook at this point?
That's see. They got to look at their self. They got to
The
look at
Lakers.
themselves. And yes, LeBron has to look in himself. Rich has to look in himself. Palinka has to look in yourself. And Jeannie Buss has to look at themselves.
Mm,
You look at, we talked about this numerous times too. That was not a marriage that shouldn't happen. I really don't know what they were thinking. Like, I
before they
didn't
got
think,
Westbrook.
yeah, I didn't think I knew it was a bad idea, but I didn't think it would be that bad as missing the playoffs. But I guess you could say AD was and LeBron was in and out the lineup. Okay, you could say that, but even if they're healthy, I still think they are playing or a low seeded playoff team. I don't consider that a championship team or a contender because it's not enough spacing.
You
Like
saying as
somebody,
you saying as it's constructed right now,
yeah, as
no,
it
with no
constructed,
Kyrie. Okay,
you
got
would
you.
know
Go ahead.
Kyrie. So like
Okay.
to your point, who does want him with that contract?
I
Especially, you got to
know.
think about it. What this was his third team in 3 years.
Mm,
Like you was with your boy Harden, that didn't work out. You went to Washington, even though I think in Washington he got better there, like towards the second half of the season. I think he got better then, but they trade you. Like they take the package the Lakers gave them. Now you come here. Now you just what? Like I think he really needs to be on the team where he was in his last year in OKC before they get Paul George and Melo there. That
hmm.
team where he won MVP. He needs
Yeah.
to be in a situation like that, like maybe like in Orlando or even possibly back in OKC. Like I
Mm.
heard it was a possibility OKC would take him back. Then I seen Charlotte would take him. Like I think they was offering like Gordon Hayward and something like that. But
Oh,
then I don't
really?
understand. But then I don't understand that on Charlotte's, and because now you're going to take the ball out of LaMelo's hands. I don't understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's
But
it's really, mhm,
no, I was gonna say it's just probably just talk. You know how
yeah,
the rumor mill go because it's
right,
one thing for stuff, the rumors to come out that actually makes sense. But
right.
that what you said right there, that wouldn't make sense for Charlotte to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which is
it
lead me to
don't.
believe it's just talk.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
just try to light some fires. Could you see John Wall going to the Lakers? What's the story on him? What do you think happens with John Wall?
I got some insight.
Okay, kick it. That's what we're here for.
John Wall to the Clippers.
What? Oh man, come on, man. Holla at your boy, man. Holla at your
By
boy, man. Tell me,
by by
tell me as much as you
he
can without telling me.
uh, just the they're working on a buyout. The two teams could, at the top of the list, like the two main suitors would be the Clippers and Miami. But
Okay,
I think the Clippers will have the advantage. That's just my opinion.
okay.
Like the relationship with Tyronn Lue, I think that's a close tight bid. He's cool with Paul George, and I think that's the perfect scenario. I think like especially you mentioned the Lakers, like they got Russ right there, and I still don't think LeBron is willing. He could say what he wants to the media, but I haven't seen it personally. He's willing to play the wing, let the point guard operate. I
Mm,
think Kawhi is not a selfish player. Paul George is not a selfish player. And to the same fact, like I said, Kyrie would be perfect there. I can see John Wall working good in that system under Tyronn Lue, and he's a better defender. And I think
mm.
that's a under the rate. I think being around somebody like a Kawhi will be perfect in this situation for John Wall. Coming off the injury, people starting to doubt him and stuff like that. And he's hungry. He's been wanting to play. Houston told him to stay home, and it wasn't like he wanted to stay home. Like
Okay.
I think that'll be the perfect situation. There's shooters around him. He can operate and he can defend. I think it'll be an excellent situation for him. Actually,
Okay. Let's say John Wall do go to the Clippers.
okay.
What you think? Give me a projection. Finals, Western Conference Finals.
I think going in right now, like as teams heavily constructed as right now, and you add John Wall to the Clippers, to me going right now, I think they're in the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors. Right now, I feel, and I'm in the unpopular opinion, I feel if Kawhi was healthy, they would have won last year, and I feel they would have won this year. It's my
Mm,
I think, and you add, and me being a Clippers fan, I look at them differently. I consider that one of my teams. I know what they need. So none against Reggie Jackson because when Kawhi went out in that playoff run, he was there. It
yeah, he
was him.
surprised me. Yeah.
It was him and Paul George. But I still want him as a backup point guard. I don't want him as my starter. And when I
Gotcha.
say that is, I feel since Paul George and Kawhi have become Clippers, I think they've been doing a little bit too much. It's like too hard. Like this really the first time you can say Kawhi is actually a playmaker too. He's always had a point
Okay.
guard. He had Tony Parker. He had a
Mm-hmm.
young DeJounte Murray. Then when he
Mm-hmm.
gets traded to Toronto, he has Kyle Lowry. He has Fred VanVleet there. Now
Mm,
he goes to the Clippers. He's playmaking more. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good at it. He's good at it. Him and Paul George is good at it. But I feel to get the best version of themselves, they should get back to both of them being the two-way players that they are, and the upgrade at that point guard being a John Wall or a Kyrie or even a D'Angelo Russell. I think just let them be the playmakers, and y'all do what y'all good at, scoring and defending. And even with that, having Reggie Jackson there, I still think they would have won if Kawhi was healthy. So
yeah, I do too.
that's
I do
even more
too.
scary. So
Yeah, I
that's
do
even
too.
like so.
I like how
I
you
that,
laid that out, man. Oh, we got to
yeah.
definitely do this more often. This is a hit right here, baby. Because let me say this to you: as much respect as I got for Kyrie, I love Kyrie. I'm Team Kyrie.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
But with the Clippers, it's my thing has always been, we're gonna take a 30-second commercial break. Y'all don't go
Okay.
nowhere. Y'all listen to the Ask the GM with Barbershop Jay and my man RC Stafford. Don't y'all go nowhere. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
It's Kay Cunningham, and you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Touch that dial.
Max and Key, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Y'all got to forgive me. I got some technical difficulties on my end, so I don't know if the comeback was synced up just right, but we are back. You know what I'm saying? With my man, Ask the GM, excuse me, with my man RC Stafford, our GM, our own personal GM, RC Stafford. What I was saying is, as much as I love Kyrie, for me, it's about. Well, let me say it this way. A lot of sports fans nowadays, they get so caught up in who is going where or what. It's always the who. It's the name. But for me, it has been, no disrespect to the name. Yeah, the name matters because obviously if the person got a name, then their game got to go along with it, so to speak. But more than that, it's been whether or not who's being added is complementary to what you do. Especially offensively. You get what I'm trying to say?
Very
and
important.
I think, and I know it's going to be a lot of people out there that's going to probably be throwing tomatoes at me if they see me riding by in the street and they recognize me. I ain't saying I'm all that. I'm just saying sometimes I think John Wall would be a better fit with the Clippers than Kyrie. Not saying Kyrie is not capable of being a distributor or whatnot, but I think John Wall is more willing to. Kyrie sometimes, in my opinion, he get caught up in I'm gonna do you. I'm gonna do you. You know what I mean? And that's that New York City. I played at the Rucker, man. That's that New York City frame of mind when it come on the hoop side. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't about to come out here and I got all these folks out here. And you ain't about to have me going home, folks pointing at me like, oh, he got done in. That type of stuff.
Right.
John Wall, man. He just I could just envision them playing together. John Wall is not I got to get mine first kind of player. And I ain't saying Kyrie really is, but I'm just saying John Wall ain't more so than Kyrie is. You feel what I'm trying to say?
I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, I think he would be a better fit with them, especially with Kawhi and Paul George and what they can do offensively.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Then you take the attention off of them as primaries, and then you got to figure John Wall now, don't get it twisted. I mean, he probably ain't the greatest defender in the world, you know what I mean? So they would have to cover him up on defense. I
think he's pretty. I think he's pretty good defensively.
You think so?
I think now. I have to see how he is. He's been out, but like I believe John Wall. If I ain't mistaken, John Wall is one of the top shot blockers at the point guard position. I believe, and
wow.
And in Wizards playoff days, he was kind of top. I believe he was like at least top 7 in steals. I think he's more willing. I think he's a more willing defender.
Okay, that's all right. That's fair. I'll give you that. But when I think of John Wall really going to the Clippers, I'm just thinking of the offensive prowess, the punch.
Ooh. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because he is a facilitator, and he can. And I don't know. He might not be what he was before injury or whatever the case may be, but he can still get at you offensively too. Do you understand if you're a defense, what you got to deal with? I'm just talking about from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah.
If them 3 guys are together.
Yeah, especially if he's speeding that tempo up too, because like.
Thank you.
That's what I was saying before. Like when I mentioned the Clippers and him. He has the shooters around him. That's one thing you can count on with John Wall. He's gonna get into the cup, and if you try to stop them, he knows how to pass to them shooters. That's why, like you got the Luke Kennards there, like Kawhi. You got Paul George. Like that's what I'm saying. Even that's how scary the Clippers team. And I know they had their little debacle against the Nuggets in the combine, but. That's one thing that's scary about them, because even me and you agreed on even if Kawhi was healthy, with Reggie Jackson at the start of point, I still felt they would have won.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine, and I still feel they could get better if they get that upgrade, which it would be a John Wall at the point guard, Reggie
I
Jackson
think
coming
so
off the
too.
bench, and I don't know. I'll say that's for another segment. They
Okay.
up. Kawhi's up to some other sneaky moves.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's say that for the next. Yeah, let's say that for the next time we get together. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Let me ask you, man, who joins Dame in Portland, or does he land in Denver with the Joker? Because there was some talk before the Kyrie did his re-sign or whatever his opt-in. It was some talk KD might go over there.
I think he brought that up. This the whole thing with Dame. I love Dame. I love his loyalty. You know, Melo is my guy,
Absolutely.
but he has to wise up, man. I don't want him in the
He who?
Carmelo and the Dame
Okay.
Lillard.
Dame. Okay.
He has to wise up. I don't want another Carmelo situation like when Carmelo wins in New York, they not getting him the proper help that he needs. That's what they're doing in Portland. Like, to me, you see what CJ did. They got rid of CJ. CJ's in a way better situation.
Right.
With Dame, don't get me wrong. I like the draft pick. I'm a big fan of Shaedon Sharp. I love Shaedon Sharp. I even like Jeremy Grant, but I don't think that's the type of move that's going to put them over the top. I mean, you got to look at the situation. You got a healthy Kawhi and Paul George led Clippers team coming back. Who knows if they upgrade getting a John Wall or a Kyrie or somebody that's just the upgrade at that point guard position.
Mm-hmm.
Ja and them young boys in Memphis, they got some success. Excuse me, this year. They're getting better. You got Zion coming back if he's healthy. I think that's the team to really watch. A healthy Zion, added to
okay.
yes.
Okay.
You got Luka. You know Mark Cuban has something up his sleeve. They already got Christian Wood. Tim Hardaway Jr. is coming back.
Okay.
So you got to look at that whole scenario like, dang, do you have enough? Who's your number two anyway coming into this season? Who's your number? Is you gonna rely on Jeremy Grant to be your number two? Is you gonna rely on the one kid, Anthony Simons, to be your number two? Like, I think Dame has to wise up. I don't see that as a free agency destination either for any like a superstar or something like that. I think he should ask for a trade. I've been thinking they should ask for a trade.
And I respect Dame loyalty because what he said in the beginning, and I respect all of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But do you see Portland trying to make any type of move? And but what can they really do? Yeah, based on what you just said, you don't see that as a free agent destination.
Like what can they do? It's only so much. What you gonna trade Nurkic? What you gonna get? Like, it's only so much you can get. And I feel I really don't know what that franchise, that ownership is doing. And it's been going on for years. Like, it's been going on for years. Like, I just don't understand. Like, none against Chauncey Billups. I don't think he's the right coach for that situation. I think he needs a younger team versus like having an all-star, superstar caliber point guard at Dame Lillard, and you got a bunch of young players. Like, what is your goal? We already know what Dame wants. Dame wants to win, but he's so loyal to Portland that what are your goals coming from? If I was Dame, that's what I would ask. But he tried to do that last summer, and they didn't really give him enough. Like, in my opinion, as a GM, I would have actually broke that team up the year that they got swept in the Western Conference Finals from Golden State. Kevin Durant wasn't even playing. So if you wasn't good enough to get a win against a Golden State team without Kevin Durant, I mean, what you gonna do? Like, they gave Norman Powell that extension just to trade him to the Clippers. Like, I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't either. And I'm like you. If I'm Dame, you respect his loyalty. And in this case, because we had a whole lot of conversations about guys jumping ship when the going gets tough. These dudes get gone, certain types of plays, no names, please. But in his case, I would understand if he was to go ahead and dip somewhere. Because it's about reciprocity. Yes. Okay. I showed y'all I want to be here, but just show me that y'all want me to be here. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
and then to your other point, you look at all of the competition in your backyard, and you got to look around and see in your own yard, hey, I can't compete with them other dudes over there barbecuing, and they got and all I got is a little Grill Master 110, and you know what I'm saying, and they got barrels over there. You know what I'm trying. All I can throw is a couple of burgers on my joint, but they throwing whole slabs and sides of beef. Come on, man. You know what I'm trying to tell you? And one of the wheels on mine is broken. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Christian Woods, will the Rockets regret, letting him go, or should I say letting him ride? And he was their leading scorer.
I actually like Christian Wood there, but
you mean there as in where? Dallas?
I mean, I like him there. Like, I definitely like him there. The more troops you can get around Luka, the better. That's a scary. That's a bad man, man. And if he gets even the right help, like he's a contender too. Dallas is a contender too. But the Rockets, I really don't. I mean, I guess they go into the youth movement. I think you can speed up that process a little bit better. I still wouldn't trust Steven Silas as a head coach. I mean, there's some people you could give them a shot at head coach, but then it's just some people that they're just good at what they do as assistant coaches. I don't think he's a head coach in this league. That's just my opinion. Nothing against Steven Silas. I know he's very knowledgeable. He's the son of Paul Silas. So
but maybe not yet. Maybe he's not a head coach candidate. Not yet.
Yeah, not
yet. A little bit more seasoning.
Yeah, but I guess they're going with the youth movement. Like, they got Jabari Smith Jr. with the 3rd pick in the draft. So, I mean, he's young. I think they could have kept both of them, but I think they like the one guy singing. I think he's a foreign player. Yeah. I guess they want him to get more minutes at that position. So they want to go with the youth movement. I know they're I believe they're trying to get rid of Eric Gordon as well.
Speaking of the draft, you like to pick Ivy going to the Pistons?
No, because I wanted him to go to the Knicks. But like, I wanted the Knicks to trade up more. But I love what they're doing in Detroit. I really think Troy Weaver. Shout out to Troy Weaver as that GM over there. I think he's to me, he won the draft. Like, if you listen to what they said, Jalen Duran, who they got in the trade from the Knicks during the draft, that was the second guy on their board. They had Ivy first, then they had Jalen Duran to get both of them.
Okay.
Like, with Cade, like I think they won the draft in my opinion.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be some folks on the other part of the platform, on the P program. They're gonna love to hear you said that. Double J and Doc. We talked about Melo too. You and I often talk about Melo because I'm a Melo head too. Hey, I just a little disclaimer, if we want to call it that. When they come to national championships, man, and performances, individual performances, but the individual performances that had a team impact in terms of overall performance, what he did to Kansas in that first half, he set the table and told the rest of them dudes, his boys, in the second half, now y'all go eat.
Facts. Like, Melo, like, I still think he's very underrated. I think they disrespected him his whole career. It's like, even you could hear, you talk about Syracuse at that morning in New Orleans against Kansas. Coach Jim Boeheim will tell you he was a nervous wreck. You know the scenarios that he'd been in that situation.
Right.
He never had a freshman.
Whoa. Melo was a freshman then? Was he a freshman?
True freshman at that. Wasn't no sit out.
Why did I think he was a sophomore?
Freshman. They was led by freshmen. Him and Jerry McNamara was true freshmen. Hakeem Warwick was a sophomore.
Wow.
A freshman.
See, it's for that reason right there that I be telling folks all the time, and I'm going to keep telling y'all. I don't have no problem letting y'all know that this guy right here, if mine, like the transmission on the 68 Buick, it be slipping. don't know why I forgot that Melo was a.
Yeah, he was
Oh
a
wow.
freshman. Like, and Coach Boeheim said, like I said, he never had a freshman that was cocky, calm at the same situation. Like, Coach, I know you nervous. We got this. That's
Mm,
exactly what Jim Boeheim said Melo told him in the morning. And look what happened.
yeah, man. Listen, Melo is one of my all-time favorite players. Period, man. He just is, man. He just
Yeah, he doesn't get the credit, man. You know, when I know people, the people I talk to, like every day, I had, you know, we have sports talks all the time. You got people here that really don't see. Like, I really think, I agree. I believe, I forget who said it. Somebody was like, I think it was Jalen Rose that said Melo gonna be more appreciated after he literally retires, because they don't see the impact of his skill set.
But you know why
Like,
they you know why people don't see? You know why they don't see?
why?
Because them the same type of people who voted Fernando Tatis into this year's All-Star game, but even though Fernando Tatis ain't even played a game this season. You know what I'm trying to tell you? They run the ESPN and they run to the networks, and whatever them folks on they say, they come back and regurgitate it at the water cooler. Go on over there with that. You know what I'm trying to say? You bringing a knife to a doggone debate fight. Okay, I'm just letting you know. Don't cut me in or cut it out, man.
Yeah, because you got
they're not watching. They're not really watching the games for the game and the substance of the game. They watching it for the entertainment purposes only, and they don't think for themselves. I said it, and I'll keep saying it.
Because, like, you got Kobe. Like, I remember Melo was on the Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes podcast, and he said the first time he went up against Kobe, like, and I watched this game all the time. The highlight is on YouTube, but I've seen it live as well. That they was going back and forth. This kid is 19. This is a real era. This not this little.
Exactly.
You can walk to the lane and nobody's gonna touch you. These 3-pointers, right? All like this. This is a real era. Shaq was still on the Lakers. Shaq was the year. Shaq was Karl Malone, Gary Payton, and stuff. This dude going back and forth. Kobe not saying a word to him. Melo going. I think Melo had like 20 points at the half. Come started at halftime. Kobe finally said something to him. Yeah, it's the game on now, and I'm on you too, youngin. And then Carmelo like, this the first time you talking to me all game? Like, you talking to me? He didn't back down. Kobe puts him in a post and scores. Carmelo does the same thing. This kid is 19 years old.
Yeah.
After the game, the Lakers won. Kobe comes up to him. You earn my respect. As a rookie, 19, like, you got to think about it. Like, when people talk about Melo, and I put this out on a post on Facebook a couple weeks ago. I know if I'm gonna debate with you or not, how you look at 3 players.
Okay.
Individually. Those 3 players is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Carmelo Anthony. And a lot of people thought I was saying I'm grouping Melo with those 2. No. What I'm saying is, I know if I'm a debate.
That's because they got selective
not,
retention. Exactly. I know whether or not I'm going to debate with you, depending on which player we talking about. Not saying, see, but everybody wants to run to mention a player. You mentioned 2 players' names. Everybody want to say, "Oh, he better than." I wasn't comparing him. I said, I know how I'm gonna debate with you based off of if we talk about this guy, or that guy. That's selective retention, but they only hearing what they want to hear, man. But go ahead. I'm my bad. Go ahead, finish.
Like, because it's like situations, like I said, like the people really, like, they just, like, how they look at Melo, man. It's like, oh yeah, he just a scorer. No, he not just a scorer, because just a scorer, that's a player in the 15 and maybe 19 range. This dude was strictly 25 plus, 30 some nights. He's getting double team, triple team, and you still can't score. You go through players past and present. This dude is 38 years old, still getting double teamed in the post. It's a reason.
Yeah,
one-on-one, one-on-one, he's gonna kill you. And this is what I don't understand with people. When I talk about how he's underrated. Even the best defenders, the Tony Allens in his prime, the Bruce Browns, he's gonna kill them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you look at you, and I think
And he
fact,
used to give Brian the business too early on.
every trip,
Oh,
every trip.
every trip. Okay.
And I was telling people they always like to bring up the comparisons like in the wins. LeBron didn't start winning in the matchups against Melo till he went to Miami. So you got LeBron, Wade, Bosh. Melo has who? Tyson Chandler and J.R. Smith. I love
Absolutely.
JR. I love JR. Don't get me wrong. I love JR.
I do too. But I with you with, but JR
But you
ain't
really
on the level of no
yeah,
Bosh or no Wade.
exactly. So you expected him to battle them, and like it's been like that. Like out of all the teams you could say Melo on, and I'm not no bias, even though that's my favorite player, that's my idol. I'm not biased. What team? How many teams you really that playoff teams that Melo led to the playoffs really had a real significant chance of winning it all? Besides that Chauncey Billups team that went to the Western Conference Finals, lost in 6 to the Lakers. How many teams really you looked at? I really thought the 2013 team could have, if they would have got past Indiana, which that was an older team. Like in this, in back, like let me change the subject. It's the Sills name the thing, but let me change the subject with.
Okay, got you.
Jared Washburn was the only person in 2013 that voted for Melo to win MVP. That's the only reason LeBron didn't win unanimous, because Melo got the only first MVP vote other than LeBron.
Wow.
And I ask you this, James. I ask you this. LeBron said his reason why he was mad when Steph got unanimous. You remember that?
No, I don't. But go ahead. Tell us.
LeBron, and people still to this day they give me like throw apples, tomatoes at me for saying this. Now LeBron said what's really the MVP when Steph won the unanimous. He stated all these reasons. Oh, if I wasn't on the team, such and such, we wouldn't be in this predicament. We wouldn't have the seed we get. Okay. Back in 2013, which I believe that was his last MVP. Let's go down the roster of that team. Now, this is the year, the last time the Knicks got past the first round. They lost to 6 to the Indiana Pacers. Melo wins his first scoring title. Let's go down this roster. Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith, Tyson Chandler, Raymond Felton, injured Amari. Amari didn't contribute at all in this year.
Okay.
You got Pablo Prigioni. Now let's get to the vets that retired after the season. Marcus Camby, Jason Kidd, Rasheed Wallace. Here's a name for the old heads, Kurt Thomas.
Oh, wow.
Now,
a long-time Knick dude.
Now you got this team. You take with Carmelo on this team, they won over 50 games. They was the second seed behind the Miami Heat. I believe Miami had maybe 6, maybe 7 games at the most over them in the win column. You take Carmelo Anthony off that team, they're a lottery team. And Jared Washburn specifically mentioned that point. LeBron, you got D Wade, you got Chris Bosh on the team. A lot of people keep on saying, "Oh yeah, Dwayne Wade, what's the same Dwayne Wade?" Man, miss me with that crap. Miss me with it.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you on that. He may not have been the same Wade, technically,
right?
But he was still better than. Listen, as a matter of fact, I don't even know off the top of my head, but I'm just gonna take a gander. You would know this probably a little bit better than me, and I'm glad. Hey, have at it. But if you looked at D Wade, that D Wade that you're talking about, was probably still in the top 5 at his position.
Yes, probably higher than that. I still give him higher than that. Yeah.
Okay, so if you in the top 3 then at your position in that year or that time period you're talking about D Wade, then you can't minimize what he was then. You understand? Correct. For them people that try to do that. Now, if he was maybe the 15th best player, you might have a case. Yeah. You get what I'm trying to say? But if you at that time is at his position, you in the top 5 as one of the 5 best at your position. Now it's 30 teams in the league now. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If you top 3, that's saying something, even for back
Right.
then. So don't try to minimize what Wade was and what he meant to that team,
Exactly.
even at 79 years old.
Exactly. And it's just the fact that people still laugh at it. Like Jared Washburn was interviewed and he spoke on it again. He was like, till this day, I will still vote for him as the MVP. In my opinion, he was. Again, in the series against, and a lot of people fail to realize, in the series against Indiana, he had a torn labrum and didn't complain not once. Gave it his all, having his way with Paul George, a young Paul George before this knee injury. Like, who was his go-to guy?
So
Like,
he had a torn labrum. So he ain't had to get carried. He ain't had to get carried off the court for leg cramps, huh?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But like, it's just situations like that when I look at how people like look at Carmelo Anthony. Like, y'all don't really give that man his credit. Like I said, I agree with Jalen Rose said. People are not going to appreciate him until he retires because they're going to go back and look and say, wow, because you can't possibly just minimize his peers. And this was crazy. It's always the nerds and the geeks or the people that haven't played ball.
Or the analytics, absolutely.
Yeah.
The backyard ballers.
Yeah. They always say this and that negativity about Carmelo Anthony, as all his peers about him. Like they try to make up these false narratives. Like there's a narrative recently that kind of makes me mad. Oh, he didn't. He's playing good now. Like now, when he's under LeBron with the Lakers, he's playing good now because he's finally accepted his role coming off the bench. Carmelo Anthony hasn't started in the last 2 years. He's been accepted his role. Even going back to OKC, Paul George says Carmelo was the person that sacrificed the most. Didn't say a peep. He didn't say a peep, but everybody else talking for him. Oh, he wanted to start. Oh no.
Yeah, you ain't convinced. You ain't got to convince me.
Right,
You preach to the choir. It's them folks out there who it's a popularity contest. You know what I mean? They don't watch. That's what I said earlier, man. They don't watch the games for the substance of it, man.
At all.
My tagline is and gonna always be: nowadays, pick a sport. The style creates the game, whereas once upon a time, the game created the style.
Right.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm saying my own line wrong. Excuse me. Oh Lord, TJ gonna have a field day with that. The storyline nowadays creates the game. Excuse me. Whereas the game once upon a time used to create the storyline. These folks, they be in their phones and scrolling and whatnot, and whatever is trending, that's what they come to. That's all they talking about. You understand? Right. I'm trying to. It's a popularity contest, pump and circumstance. That's all it is. But they not reading. They're not really diving. They're not really watching the game. Hey, I challenge people all the time. I'm telling them, watch a game, watch an NBA game with the mute on, and then let's have a conversation.
Right. Same with the draft. Like I'm really proud of Orlando because
oh really
during this whole last month or so, I was preaching to the choir. Paolo Banchero should be the first pick in the draft. They was talking all this Jabari Smith Jr. stuff, nothing against them, but I'm looking at the eye test. I watched these kids play. Banchero should have been the number one pick, just like he was. Even he said he didn't know. They surprised him.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All I got to say is, yeah, we can ready to get on out of here because we want to, like they say with the non-laters, eat something now, save something for later. Right. Yeah. And on that note, we getting ready to go ahead on and well, I'm getting ready to take a nap. I don't know about what you getting ready to do. But I just want to let y'all know it's gonna be more of this to come right here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was listening to and watching Ask the GM with my man RC Stafford. Y'all better stay tuned. Oh, and don't forget to check out the podcast on Sundays at 9 on the PM side, right here on the yard. I'm Barbershop Jay. That's my man RC Stafford. Holla.